Now, when I look at all of these figures, the first thing that crossed my mind was, what was the budgetary allocation in 2003 to the office of the deputy governor? And going back to check that, I found it was an average of, I think, about 1.5 billion naira. And the question on my own part is, what has befallen us in Edo State when we should be thinking about 5 million Edo State indigenes or more, and sectoral budget allocation that will make the lives of these persons better? All of a sudden, we have been reduced to the level of debating what budget goes to what office. This is really quite saddening. And for me, I mean, and other aspirants right now on the Edo State electoral pathway, what comes to mind is, do Edo State people really matter to those in governance at the moment? Or do they not understand that the people of Edo State is a lot bigger than individual ambitions, individual interests, and individual pathways? I think these are the questions we should be asking. We should be asking, what is the sectoral distribution? What is the IGR that we're showing? What are these things that we're showing and all of that? And
okay, I might just need to cut in there, because I mean, talking about the state's ability to be able to generate revenue. Now, the Edo State governor, that's Godwin Obaseki, has actually said that the state's internally generated revenue will grow to a tune of excess of about 70 billion naira by 2024. Now, looking at the current revenue drive and indicators in the state, do you think this particular feat is, can be surpassed according to the governor, and the strategies, put in place to actually, bring in more cash?
This is the interesting thing about Edo State, and not just Edo State, most subnational governments. A lot of things are written on paper, a lot of things are projected. But when you are in the States, and when you look at things that are going on in the States, they are going to be at crossroads at these projections and pronouncements. 70 billion by 2024 ending is a very, it's a laudable thing to aim for. But what we are currently seeing on ground in the state, the ease of doing business, the common people being actually SME and small scale and medium enterprises, people leapfrogging to actually be able to actually do these things, is not what is on paper. It is not proportional to what is being projected. And that's the truth. How would people be able to leapfrog into a situation where there are many more entrepreneurs when we don't even have good roads in Edo State? How would external persons or companies or interested parties come and do business in a place where we don't even have stable power supply and you cannot move your goods from point A to point B? So sometimes it looks like we are drawing figures from the air and just saying things to satisfy and pacify the people without paying attention to those simple things that will actually change the lives of the average Edo State indigene.
So what aspects, what do you think the government, or can do, or the institutions can do to actually, achieve this, to sort of boost the economic drive of the state? What key areas should they focus on to ensure that, okay, at the end of the day, we are looking at 70 billion, maybe at the end of the day, they're raking about 100?
To boost the economic returns in the state, or the economic health of the state, two things need to be done on the short run. First of all, we need to look at encouraging a lot of Edo State people to be able to start their own business and be entrepreneurs in their own right, small and medium scale entrepreneurs. And that means we need to find ways to reduce their startup costs. Okay, so we need to think out of the box. Who are these people? What subset of population are they? We must work with data. And we should be able to look at, looking at the data, we should be able to see why those youths and those women, what do we do to get them to start their own medium and small scale enterprises. We may need to look at loans that people get and how to reduce the interest rates for a particular group of people. In fact, these are the things we need to do. We need to actually then have a way to create hubs where people can actually come and get their spaces to do business, at least for the first 1 or 2 years, at the reduced rate. And obviously, we need to look at taxation. Who are we taxing? Why are we taxing them? Whose tax can we drop? Who can we encourage to actually come into business and do business with reduced effort? That's what people want. And yet, they're going to get returns and they can be held accountable. That they can actually employ others. This is the way to boost the economy. It's not by some highfalutin magic wand and quoting big figures. The basic and simple things need to be done. Our mothers and fathers in the markets, can they get small loans? At what rate are they getting them? Can they be encouraged? These are the things we should be looking at.
All right, now let's go back to, of course, political issues. Next year is going to be a busy. Now, looking at what is happening in terms of the political temperature right now, what do you see or what do you project happening, in Edo State politically, especially once the election season starts off proper?
Edo State is a unique state. Edo State is unique because of where it is sited and the political savviness of her people. So Edo State is sited in such a way that you have a lot of migrant population coming in from anywhere in this country. You have to crisscross Edo State to get there. So the people that have originally inhabited Edo State are people who have independent thinking pattern as well. So they made their own decision after rational thinking. And that is why a state like Edo was the first to have the first elected female senator. We also see the role they played even in the obedient movement. And we see how savvy Edo State people are. The political temperature is really going to rise. It is going to rise. But what is going to happen is that in all of this rising, the people are going to be able to analyze and come to a definitive conclusion as to that person who is going to change the state for the better, for the ordinary Edo State indigenes. And it's not going to be business as usual. This is going to be the state that is going to determine how Nigeria rocks her democracy moving forward. And this is also the state that we know, looking at the antecedents of Edo State, we know that this is the state that when they actually blow a whistle, they mean it. They don't stop. They just congregate and they actually make their decision. Now, what you are having is the beginnings of what is going to be a political tsunami. And the people right now, when you just go anonymously into the population and they tell you they want something new, they want something fresh, they want a change.